Going on, everybody? Uh, I'm a little late. I couldn't do the post game last night just because of how early I had to go to bed because work in the morning is pretty early. So, thanks everybody for joining me on Monday afternoon. For some of you, it's just turning 1 o'clock. For others, it's about 4 in the afternoon. So, for whoever jumps in here, I appreciate it. So, we all know that the 49ers won yesterday, outlasting the Minnesota Vikings 34-26 in a hard fought game that was back and forth for sure. Definitely one of those stressful games to watch, not really knowing until the very end who was going to win it. I feel like the 49ers have won three different ways in 3 different weeks, um, finding different ways to secure victory. And in the end, it's really what it's all about. It doesn't matter if you win by 20 or if you win by 6. The victory is the most important thing. The 49ers, were a little, I'm trying to think of the word I could use. Things were a little hairy early. 49ers went down early to the Minnesota Vikings, but they fought back and they fought back all day in a really good game. It pretty much lived up to the hype that everybody thought the game was going to be between two teams that are kind of fighting for their lives. The 49ers are in a position now where every game's going to mean something, and they kind of did that to themselves. But the fact of the matter is they're playing meaningful football going into December, and that's all you can really ask for. Will they make the playoffs? Who knows? They have a tough stretch to end the year, and they really can't afford another loss. If maybe one, maybe. The Rams have lost 3 straight. The Niners have won 3 straight. So, you can't really ask for much more than that. Right now, the Niners are the 5th seed, I think. So, we put ourselves in this hole, but we're finding a way to dig ourselves out of it. And that's all you can really ask for. Yesterday's game was a classic game of neither team wanted to quit, and both teams wanted to do their best to get out of it with a victory. The game definitely had some casualties as far as injuries goes. I'll talk about that in a minute. But the 49ers found a way to outlast a really good Minnesota Vikings offense. The Vikings were out without 4 of their top defensive linemen, and I thought they played relatively well, at least against the pass. They didn't make running easy for the game yesterday. I thought the Niners really had to earn 208 yards of rushing, but the Niners, ended up getting 208 yards of rushing, but it was definitely tough sledding. It wasn't an easy 208 yards. Vikings, even without their top 4 defensive linemen, are still a pretty good defense. Elijah Mitchell really, really has come into his own this year as a rookie. What can you say about him other than he's a 6th round pick? And he's the Niners' best offensive player outside of maybe Deebo Samuel. 27 carries, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 catches for 35 yards. I mean, he is the everything all around, do it all running back. And the Niners drafted him in the 6th round. You can get after the 49ers for a lot of things. Mostly their early round drafting, but their late round drafting is definitely something to behold when it comes to some of these players that they've found. I'm going to check the chat real quick. I see that Jay in the Bay dropped a super chat. Thank you very much, Jay. You are the man. What good first takes? Let's see that smile today. You can admit the 49ers Super Bowl. I don't know about Super Bowl bound, but I'm definitely happy that they're winning. I'm happy. I'm looking at the glass. I'm definitely looking at the glass half full, but I'm definitely trying to be realistic because going forward, we go to Seattle, and for some reason we don't do well in Seattle. Even with the Seattle Seahawks on the downslide, I still think it's going to be a tough game. I just think division games have a way of not going easy, and I don't expect that game to go easy. I feel like the Niners can control the pace with how they do things on offense, but uh, the Niners defense is definitely the weak spot on the team for sure. I feel like the offense has covered up a lot of the defense this year, but the defense definitely still has me concerned in a couple areas. Uh, they've done a lot better against the run. They've gotten way tighter against the run. I will say that. I think they allowed under 70 yards rushing yesterday, but pass defense still scares me. Josh Norman is not very good. He can force fumbles all he wants, but he is what he is. He's an over the hill veteran corner who we really were never going to sign. And the only reason we signed him is because we lost Ferret. So those concerns are still there for me. And I feel like down the stretch, they could pose a problem and be kind of like what could be our undoing. I'm not saying that they're going to be our undoing, but I'm definitely in my mind, I think about it. Um, the pass rush still is lacking other than Nick Bosa, who got his 11th sack yesterday. I feel like the Niners are still struggling to find a way to get a rush other than Bosa. And again, down the stretch, when we need things to happen for us against, teams that are fighting for the playoffs as well. And even if we get into the playoffs, I mean, those are the things that concern me at least. The injuries concern me on defense, but the defense still as a whole has been suspect, at least against the pass. So definitely things to look at as the season wears down to the last couple games. But hopefully the 49ers can find a way to sustain the way they've been playing, forcing turnovers. They forced two turnovers yesterday, um, an interception and a fumble recovery, both by Aziz Al-Shaair. I feel like Aziz Al-Shaair has definitely become a really good player this year. He's matured into as good a linebacker as Dre Greenlaw, if not better. Now this is the season isn't over yet, and he still has some games to go, but he's played outstanding. And again, another he was an undrafted free agent, but just again, with the Niners, what they do to miss in the first round, in the second round, and the misses that they get, they really do a good job with undrafted free agents and late round picks. And it doesn't make any sense. You want to hit on your early picks and then, be 50-50 maybe with your later round ones. But the Niners have it all flipped. They almost always miss early and hit late. So to me, it is what it is. When it's a meritocracy, wherever you can get good players, I really don't care. I don't care if they're undrafted. I don't care if they're late rounders. I don't care if they're early rounders. In the end, you just want good players that make an impact and make plays for your team and help you win. And Aziz Al-Shaair has been nothing short of incredible this year. Got his stat line here. Let me take a look at it. Hold on one second. He had 8 tackles, an interception, and a fumble recovery. Just a really solid game. Nothing, out of this world. But like I said, he was an undrafted free agent. He's definitely come into his own. And now with Dre Greenlaw again hurt with the groin, he re-injured or the core muscle. I'm not sure exactly if he re-injured the same thing or if it's all connected. But I don't know if you could give him his job back at this point, even though he's played well and he's earned his starting job. I feel like Aziz Al-Shaair is kind of taken that job away from him. But that's just my opinion. I'm not forcing that on anybody. So I just think that he's played well enough to earn and keep that position. But, with Dre Greenlaw getting hurt again, it kind of really takes the decision making out of it. So big game by Aziz Al-Shaair. He's been playing well all season, and I think he'll continue to get better and improve as a player as the season winds down to a close. Sean Dunn says we need to put Seattle in their grave this week. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Seattle being at the end of their run, and that this could be the end of Russell and the coach. And I don't feel bad whatsoever. I am not sad. Good riddance. Let them suck for a while. Let us beat up on them. It's been way too long. They've been good, or at least they've had Russell Wilson. So they even when they've had like a bad team around them, they've found a way to be good. So yeah, definitely want to see the Seattle Seahawks kind of be put down and put out of their misery for good. Hopefully we can go into Seattle where we have a hard time playing and find a way to beat them. They've been our kryptonite for years, and hopefully we can change that and just kind of stomp out whatever is left of them this year. Again, it's not a personal vendetta. It's just I'm a 49ers fan. You guys are 49ers fan. It's kind of the same with the Cowboys back in the day. You're not going to weep if they become a really bad team and suck for a while. No one's going to feel bad for them. So Greenlaw and Warner hurt. Shaair will need to hold it down with Foles. Yeah, I don't know exactly the severity of the hamstring injury to Warner. I'm sure that the press conferences are going to go on while I'm doing my stream, so I probably should have waited. But yeah, I mean, with Greenlaw, we haven't really seen him all year, so it's not necessarily as big of a loss. You'd love to have him back and have a nice, 3 linebackers who are all really, really good, but he hasn't been there all year. But yeah, the Fred Warner one really concerns me. Hopefully it's not too severe. Same thing with Debo. The talk of Debo, and I know a couple of you 49er YouTubers have posted this already, is it's not going to be a long-term injury. He might miss a little bit of time, but they don't think it's going to be too severe. So good news on that front. It sucks that we're going into 2 games. We could really use Debo with Seattle and Cincinnati. Say what you want about the Bengals, but they look like a really good team this year. So these next 2 games are going to be tough. I know some people look at them and say, oh, those are 2 automatic wins. I don't think you can really look at it that way. Seattle is Seattle. They just find a way to beat us for some reason. And then as far as the Bengals look really talented and young and athletic. So we'll see. These next 2 games are going to be very important. Hopefully the Niners can go 2-0. They really need to not lose any more ground with the season ending. So we'll see. Jay in the Bay, I echo your sentiments. Norman is a liability at cornerback, but there is no one better at this point. No, there's not. If there was a Norman, would be on the bench. Yeah, he'd be on the bench or he'd be cut. Yeah, there is no other. I mean, what are you going to go? Who are you going to go after at this point? It's, almost December. He's the best of what there is. Jay is right, though. He's definitely been a liability. He's a head scratcher for sure. Same thing with Compton at left tackle. He is who he is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Jalen Moore. But, yeah, Compton is pretty butt. He's pretty trash. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Like Jay says, he is who he is. At this point in the season, you have who you have, and you just got to go with it, roll with it. So at this point, it's Compton or bust. I wish Jalen Moore was good enough to be in there, but apparently he isn't. So right now it's the Tom Compton show until further notice. Aziz couldn't have performed better. He is an asset on this defense. No telling how long Greenlaw will be out. Right. I don't know about you, Jay, but if it came to giving contracts out at this point, I'm just saying I would probably go as Shaair. He's bigger. At this point, he's more durable, although that is, from week to week. But yeah, I definitely agree. He's definitely performed as well as you can. And I'm definitely a big fan of Aziz Al-Shaair. Jamie Bryant says Mitchell is going to be an elite running back. Yeah, I agree. What they need to do, though, is they need to mix in some other people. As great as he is and as good as he's played, Um, I know Shanahan commented on this saying, he understands, if people get too much run or have too many reps, injuries and things happen, but you can't coach that way. You can't coach afraid. You got to go with the hot hand. I get that. But at the same time, just like Debo, they're going to run him into the ground. I mean, you got to find different ways to get other people involved, even if it's 10 carries a game. I mean, the dude had almost 30 carries yesterday. He takes a punishment every time he goes through the hole. He's elusive at sometimes, and other times he gets beat up in there. So hopefully the 49ers can find a way to, start involving Jeff Wilson Jr. and JaMychal Hasty and save him some reps, get him some rest on the sideline. But at this point, looks like Kyle Shanahan's going to ride the hot hand until we ain't playing any more games. Niner Faithful says Bengals might torch us, being honest, but I hope we went out. Right. I am definitely concerned. I'm definitely concerned about the Bengals. They look really talented and they're really young. But it is what it is. I mean, we have the games left that we have, and we put ourselves in a position by not winning early in the season to have every game be meaningful. And, in a way, I guess you would want it no other way because every game there's an onus to win and play as hard as you can. But at the same time, if the Niners would have took care of business early in the year, they wouldn't have to, go into every game thinking they got to win them all. So, but it is what it is. Jay says Shanahan likes to lean on his vets. Yeah, for the most part, I think he does. I think the exception is Eli Mitchell. I just think he's better than anybody we have in the backfield. You wonder if Raheem Mostert comes back next year. I could see him coming back on a smaller salary, and being a complementary piece to Eli being the starter. But that's a couple months away still, and you really don't know how he's going to rehab from the injury that he had. But Eli's looking more and more like he might be kind of the future running back, at least for the next 3 to 4 seasons. So definitely something to keep an eye on as the season comes to a close with Raheem Mostert. I mean, to have them both would be great. They'd be a perfect 1-2 punch. The thing is that, Mostert doesn't stay healthy. I mean, I know Elijah Mitchell's been nicked up, but he misses like games, long stretches, and he's pretty much been unhealthy since we've had him. He's really good when we got him on the field, and he's really electric, but the fact of the matter is he's just not healthy. So we'll see. I would think if he comes with the cheap deal, we hold on to him, and if we don't, that might be the end of it for him. If you guys wouldn't mind doing what Jay says, hit that like button if you like what you hear. I appreciate it. It helps YouTube find people find my videos on YouTube, and it means a lot to me. Drop a subscribe also if you like what you hear. I try to stream at least twice a week, and I try to put as many videos up as I can as my schedule allows. So I appreciate everybody who's in the chat right now. I'm sorry that I'm a day late. My job doesn't allow me to stream late on Sunday nights because I have to be in so early. So Monday afternoons are kind of my time to do this. Niner Faithful says maybe we can trade Greenlaw for a 4th or 5th rounder in the offseason and roll with Fred and Aziz at linebacker and maybe draft a solid rookie behind him. Yeah, I don't see Greenlaw going anywhere unless they think they can get something for him. I think you can never have enough good depth at that position, but I don't think he'll get a second contract. Just saying. But the offseason is so far away right now, I don't even know what to think about that. But the Niners are going to try to recoup as many picks as they can with as many trades as they can do in the offseason because they're not, they don't have a first round pick. So with the Jimmy situation, they are all signs point to them moving on from him at the end of the year. I think it was Ian Rappaport who had a report that says the Niners are all but done with Garoppolo after this year, and they will try to trade him in the offseason, and this is going to be Trey Lance's team next year. So I think Garoppolo was asked about it in the post game, and he was a pro about it. So, it is what it is. The Niners gave up a lot to draft Trey Lance. So, it was the inevitable thing that was going to happen. So he's been a professional about it, Garoppolo, but, I really just think, you kind of see what you got with Garoppolo. We saw it yesterday. We saw jittery Jimmy making mistakes, taking sacks that he shouldn't, just looking nervous and scared out there. And then there's the other Jimmy that makes really ridiculously good throws. And you're just like, why can't he do that all the time? But, it is what it is. Trey's going to struggle too, but you expect that from a rookie in his first or second year, or even his third year. When a guy's in his 8th year and he's still making kind of rookie mistakes and bonehead decisions, you realize that what you see is what you get, and it's not really going to get much better at this point. Jamie Bryan says, I think Debo is set to miss a week or two, and Kittle. Yeah, Kittle's got to get more involved, but I think that's on Jimmy, to be honest with you. I saw a highlight on Twitter where Kittle was running wide open and Jimmy never saw him. So I think part of that is, teams scheme to take Kittle away, and then part of it is also Jimmy. So it's kind of a mix. But yeah, I do need to see Kittle get more involved if we're going to be out without Debo for a couple weeks. Niners offense is definitely going to change because now there's not going to be a lot of Debo stuff coming out of the backfield. You wonder who's going to fill that void in the running game. Is it going to be more Elijah Mitchell? Do the Niners use Jeff Wilson Jr. to run the ball? I would assume so, right? I mean, he's healthy. So definitely going to be some differences with the Niners offense, at least in the next couple weeks without Debo. Do I see John Lynch getting fired in the on? Nah. The Niners would lose out. Maybe. But if the Niners end the season like the way we think they're going to end it, I don't see him going. Never say never with anything because the Niners, really up until recently have been really below expectations. But the season isn't over yet. The Niners, as of now, as I'm speaking to you on here, are I think the 5th seed. So, it's the best. You can't really argue and hate them for that. But if John Lynch, I would think if the Niners were to kind of go down with the sinking ship in the next couple games, I mean, I would assume somebody or someone's going to pay the price just because it's another losing season. But it's hard to say at this point. Nobody wants to pay Dre Greenlaw. He's been hurt. Yeah, definitely been hurt a lot. He was definitely the better. He looked really good his first couple of years, but he can't get out. He can't stay on the field. I think last year he had some injury issues too. So unfortunate for him, in his absence, Aziz Al-Shaair has stepped up and looks like a starting caliber middle linebacker. And he's a undrafted free agent that the Niners really don't have to pay all that much. So it is what it is, man. It's a business in the end, and it's all about productivity. And if the Niners can get productivity from a guy who's making next to nothing, they're not going to pay a guy who has, concerns with his health, who can't stay on the field, when they got a guy who's more consistent, healthy, and they don't have to pay all that much. So definitely something to look at. What's up, CG? How you doing, man? I saw earlier somebody in the chat saying, if you look at Norman's numbers, he isn't as bad as you think. Yeah, he's still a liability in coverage. Although yesterday, I will say, Talanoa Hufanga showed his inexperience in coverage with that touchdown to Adam Thielen, the second one, he bit so hard. The thing coming out of college with Ofunga was his ability on the back end in coverage, and it's definitely something that he's going to have to work really hard with as the season ends and as we go into the next offseason, because he is definitely a liability in coverage. Say what you want about Jaquiski Tart and Jimmy Ward, but they're experienced. And as much as I want to replace a guy like Tart because he's always hurt, he just doesn't make those kind of mistakes in pass coverage. If a guy gets a touchdown on him in a tight window, it's one thing, but Tulanoa Hufanga was beat so bad on that play, it wasn't even funny. So definitely you see where, scouts and other people were saying, like, Hufanga is really good at the line of scrimmage and he makes a lot of plays and he's right around the ball at all times. But in pass coverage, he's kind of suspect, and you kind of saw it yesterday. So still needs to improve. His story hasn't been written yet. He's got a long career ahead of him, so I'm not really too down on him. He is what he is. I forget what round he was drafted in, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not really down on the kid. I'm kind of agreeing with the experts that say he's a liability in pass coverage. As of now, it's true. He isn't really good back there, but we got a long time for that. I want to give props to Juwan Jennings yesterday. Kind of a big, slow guy that doesn't get a lot of separation, but even on the touchdown that didn't count, that was still a pretty fantastic catch. And then, of course, Jimmy went to him, and, I never seen Jimmy really throw jump balls or balls to guys that are kind of big and letting them go up for it. So it was a surprising throw by Jimmy, and it was a really good catch by Juwan Jennings. He's kind of becoming a goal line guy for us. Hopefully, as his career kind of starts taking off, he starts to become more well-rounded, and we use him, just not in the red zone, but we use him everywhere on the field. He's got a big body. He's got a huge catch radius. He made a huge catch over the middle yesterday that Jimmy threaded in there, and it was a fantastic catch. A big bodied guy, big hands, snatching it out of the air. And, we don't have a lot of those guys, if any. We have a lot of like 5'10" to 6'1" receivers. We don't have a lot of big bodies. So he's kind of a nice change of pace. He's something that we're not used to. And I'm all about getting mismatches and getting a big guy like that on a smaller DB and seeing what he could do. So definitely high on Juwan Jennings right now. Hopefully he can do even better. I forget. He was drafted last year, but right? Yeah, he was drafted last year, but I forget. But yeah, it's definitely nice to see him coming into his own this year, and he's only going to get better. Now with Debo being down, you wonder how many more reps he gets, and if his play time will increase. I would assume so, right? So definitely big on Juwan Jennings at this point in the season. Hey, what's up, Clown Man? How you doing? Thanks for popping in here. Yep, I'm here on a Monday afternoon before the sun goes down. I just can't get on late at night on Sunday because I have to work at like 4 a.m, unloading a truck and stuff. So takes a while for me to get, I got to get to bed and everything. So thanks for anybody who's in here right now. I see there's about 20 people in chat. I appreciate that. I didn't expect really anybody to pop on here because it's kind of an odd time. So thanks, everyone. I don't know if you guys noticed yesterday, but that bad kickoff that Mitch Wisnowski kicked, where it was returned for a touchdown. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think he was yanked out of the game and was replaced by Robbie Gould on kickoffs. I saw it. I don't know if you guys did, but I'm Shanahan doesn't put up with any BS. So that was a horrible kickoff. low trajectory, and it was returned. No one really ever touched him. Uh, Speaking of the special teams, man, the Niners got bamboozled with that Robbie Gould deal. I mean, a 42-yard chip shot that everybody makes, and this dude, we have a chance to go up by what, 11 points, 10 points, and he misses it wide right. No, an aging kicker with kind of a deteriorating leg who doesn't really want to be with us anyways. He wanted to go back to Chicago. We overpaid him, and now we're looking at, a guy he's not dependable. Yeah, I don't know what the Niners are going to do this offseason, if they're going to keep Gold one more year. Or are they going to eat his salary and go in another direction? The Niners special team was kind of bad in the beginning of the year, and then they get kind of good, and now they're kind of back down to, they're kind of going trending downward. And that kickoff yesterday by Wisnowski was absolutely terrible. And the fact that you miss a field goal, 42 yards at home, no wind, and you miss it. And, the team's counting on you to make that kick to put the game out of reach. And the fact that we had to send our defense back on the field to shut this game down in the end, that wasn't a really happy. I don't think Kyle Shanahan was too happy about that. I definitely wasn't. So definitely, again, there's things on this team that are glaring that, because we're winning, we're not really paying attention to, but there is definitely things that stand out to me that if things don't go the way we want at the end of the year, you can kind of point at those things and say, okay, this was an issue, that was an issue, this was an issue. And you go into the off season with kind of like a plan, like, okay, these things were kind of our downfall all season, and we got to do whatever we can to address those situations, whether it's free agency or the draft. Like I said, the Niners are without a first round pick this year. They're going to do whatever they can to recoup anything for Jimmy. A lot of people are saying it ain't going to be more than a third rounder. They're trying to get his trade value up by him playing well. So the Niners need the picks and they need the money to address some glaring needs on this team: cornerback, offensive line. Did I say quarterback? I meant cornerback, offensive line, maybe another receiver. Other things. There's other things on this team we could probably address as well. But yeah, that was kind of tough to watch yesterday with the special teams. It just doesn't sit well with me. You pay a guy as much as you pay Robbie Gould, and he can't even make a 42-yard chip shot at home. It's kind of sad. What's the news on Debo? From what I've heard, I think I actually watched it on Jay and the Base channel and a couple other people's channel. The official report as of when I started this stream was he's probably going to miss a couple weeks, but it's not super serious. So I don't know if Kyle's having his press conference right now. They do the MRIs and stuff. So they're saying it's not going to be a long time, but we'll get the official news shortly. I'll post it either to my community tab or I'll make a short little video after I'm done with this stream. Jay says, I didn't notice Mitch getting benched. Yeah, it was after the kickoff return. Robbie Gould kicked it off the following kickoff. Yeah, it was. I noticed it because I was so mad at Wisnowski for such a horrible kickoff, and then the following one, Robbie Gould was out there kicking it off. I'd rather kick in San Francisco than Chicago. Right. That's what I don't understand. This dude was crying and refusing to come to the team, and they overpaid him. He don't even want to be here. I'm not a big fan of his. He was good when they first got him, but he's deteriorating. And, they locked themselves into it by making a stupid deal with them. And they're paying the price now. Now they got to sit there and eat a contract for a guy that's not really that good. So you're saying Robbie Gould won't be? He'll probably be here next year. They're not going to eat that contract. I'm just saying he's not. I'm not super confident in him, put it that way, if you want to be completely honest. Jamie Bryan says Gold not going anywhere. Yeah, probably not. I don't want him here, but I'm saying that miss yesterday was inexcusable. Um, Speaking of inexcusable, I don't know if you guys caught the press conference at the end of the game where pretty much Shanahan said that Garoppolo's interception was inexcusable in the beginning of the game. And from what the reports were, uh, he was pretty livid on the sideline with Jimmy, pretty much like telling him it was a bad play and that he had a safety valve or a check down and that he should have went to it. So, props to Jimmy of taking the tongue lashing and coming out and playing better after. But yeah, you just can't make that throw in a game that you need to win. And if you have a check down, you either take a sack or take a check down. You don't force a ball into an area where there's no room to be had. But that's what he did, and Shanahan lit into him for it. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to retouch back on the fact that the 49ers really don't have a pass rush other than Nick Bosa. They get around the quarterback, but they just don't seem to really speed up his throwing. And the fact of the matter is that, as you get into the playoffs, the farther you go, the better the quarterbacks are. And it's concerning that Nick Bosa is so much of our pass rush. And you really don't see anything from anybody else. The Niners the Niners play some zone behind things. And when you play zone defense, if you don't get pass rush, it's like playing pitch and catch. So, who knows what the reasons are? I haven't really saw anything. I mean, Arden Key's kind of there. Amanehu had a pressure, I think, yesterday. But other than that, it's just mainly been the Nick Bosa show. And with a guy that has an injury history like Nick Bosa, you just don't want to see him, play in and play out, getting, blocked or chipped or, knocked to the ground or whatever the case may be. You'd like to see other people get involved and rush the passer. And it's definitely something that concerns me going forward as we, wind down to the end of the season. I was thinking about needs that the Niners were going to need going into the offseason, and another need that they're probably going to need is they're going to probably need to address their defensive pass rush. If they can't get one elite guy, do it in numbers. Bring multiple people in here at this point. Nick Bosa can't be the only guy that gets pressure on the quarterback. We know his health issues. We know that he gets hurt, and we got to make his life easier. Get him some rest. So other people really need to step up and get pressure on the quarterback here, because it's getting to the point where you watch the game and it's either Nick Bosa or nobody. So definitely something concerning to me as we approach the end of the season, where all these games are going to mean something. We got a kind of a suspect secondary. You'd love to see the pass rush kind of help speed up the process. And, we really haven't seen that. And when you have a secondary like ours, that's kind of average at best, they get exposed when they don't have anybody pressuring the quarterback. So hopefully in these next couple games, other people can get involved, people can speed it up, and we can see a little bit of pass rush from someone else or somewhere else. You don't want to blitz, because that just makes our secondary even more vulnerable. So people just need to win their one-on-ones and their matchups and try to get to the quarterback. Try to help poor Bosa, man, because he's pretty much all we got at this point. Jay says Gold isn't terrible. He's perfect on extra point kicks, 9 of 11 on field goal kicks. But I understand you not being confident. Yeah, he's just not my favorite guy. But I know he's not going anywhere. Not with that contract. Am I crazy because I can see the Niners winning out? No, you're not crazy. I want them to win out. I don't know if they can, because, they got a couple tough games. But, I wanted to have your optimism. So, I'll hold you to it. If they win out, you got to come back on here and tell me about myself. So, yeah, I hope they win out. I really do. Jimmy Bryan says, Kyle pretty much told Jimmy, get your damn head in the game and stop with the bonehead throws. Yeah. Listen, I'm not even trying to hate on Jimmy. He just, I'm sitting there watching the game with my nephew who's like hypercritical like me. And we're just looking at each other. We're like, same old, same old. It's like the same old Jimmy. It's just, you never know when it's going to come, but you know it's going to come at some point. He's going to make a stupid decision. And in a game like yesterday's, where we have no room for error, it was just an unnecessary throw that didn't need to happen when you have a check down. But for some reason, I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if his brain just goes into, just a stall mode, or he just, zones out or something and just makes a really stupid decision. Like when he throws to like linebackers that looks like that they're running the pattern instead of the receiver. I mean, it's just sometimes that he makes these throws and it's just unbelievable. He's played pretty solid the last 3 weeks. I'm not going to say that he hasn't, but if you wanted me to be honest with Jimmy, Jimmy is Jimmy. He's going to piss you off, and he's also going to kind of wow you with some of his throws. And yesterday was a perfect case for that. He had some really great throws to Ayuk and to Juwan Jennings, but then he made the bonehead throw. It just makes you scratch your head and try to figure out what goes through his brain when he's playing. But, at this point, he is the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. So until next year, this is what we have, and we got to deal with it. Harry Gordon says, Josh Norman, Defensive Player of the Year. Just kidding. Yeah. He sucks. Jimmy Cornette, you got it. Pretty easy schedule. What games make you nervous? Seattle makes me nervous because we can never beat Seattle, even when they're down. And the Texans game, they might have a lot of people back by then. And Cincinnati. Those 3 games scare me. Cincinnati just really, really looks like a hot team right now. I never thought I'd say that about the Bengals, but they look pretty legit. And they definitely, in the matchup area, as far as defensive backs to their receivers, they're definitely the better team in that particular matchup. So it might be one of those games where the Niners need to just hold the ball and try to outscore them. And if that's what it takes, then that's how we got to do it. The Niners at this point, whatever way is the best way to win, I'm totally down. If we got to run the ball 40 times and hold the ball for, hold the clock and keep the ball away from the other team to protect our defense, then that's the way we got to go about doing it. I don't care about how we win. As long as we win, I don't care about how it looks at this point. Ace Bra says, once Trey plays next year and doing things Jimmy was never able to do, people will be happy. Yeah, I was talking to my nephew about that yesterday. I said, there's throws that kid can make that nobody else, that Jimmy could never dream of making. He's going to have his problems next year. He's going to go through his hard times, and he's going to have his lumps because they didn't give him any reps this year. But I feel like in the end, he has the upside and the physical attributes to become a really good quarterback. He's just going to need the reps. But, right now it is what it is with Jimmy, and we're going to have to take what he gives and until next year. But like I said, the report is, I don't know if it was from Ian Rappaport or somebody else. The report is that Jimmy is definitely going to be traded, or at least they're going to try to trade him in the offseason. And that Trey will be the starting quarterback in 2022. So the Trey era is beginning in 2022, whether people want to accept it or not. One thing I'm going to say before I leave is that I really am impressed with how Ayuk has really turned it around this last couple games after he had the conversation with Kyle Shanahan about whatever issues he was having, and that him and Kyle kind of had it out with each other. He only had 3 catches yesterday, but he almost had 100 yards receiving. So I wish Jimmy would make better use of him and that the Niners would get him the ball more. But now with Debo being out, they're going to be forced to do that. And hopefully they can find ways to get Ayuk the ball, whether it's in the screen game or whatever. I really don't want to see him running the ball, especially without Debo being in there. And I hope the Niners, think about that. But at the same time, whatever ways we can get him the ball to him to be effective, I'm totally okay with that. Jamie Bryant says they're referencing Lance to Josh Allen, but I believe he's more of the. I think he's a little bit of both, but we really don't know, Jamie. We haven't seen enough of him. We really haven't seen enough of him to really know what his comp is. So, I mean, both are good players. Josh Allen has had his ups and downs this year because defenses are starting to key on some of the things that he does. And Lamar Jackson has his ups and downs too, but he's an athlete and he figures out ways to kill defenses. So if the Niners can somehow get a piece of either of those guys into to Trey Lance's game, I'll be a happy man. And I know a lot of you will too. Kid's talented. He just doesn't have the reps right now. So, if he struggles next year, people are going to be coming out saying we should have kept Jimmy or this or that and the other. Mac Jones is better and all this crap. The kid hasn't had any reps this year, so you can't really blame him for that, for what he hasn't done and what he will do and won't do next year. If he was playing this year and taking his lumps, I think it'd be better for him. But as long as the Niners are in the playoff race and Jimmy's playing well, I just don't see it going anywhere. Venom says 49ers first takes. 49ers have been playing good from my look, man, always knowing they will win. Thank me. What? Oh, from your luck. Yeah. I thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Sorry, I was reading that. I'm like, huh? Yeah, it's all because of Venom that the 49ers are playing well, guys. So if you're going to send any love to anybody, send it to him. Ace Bra says Trey Lance ain't no Lamar. He's a young McNair. Yeah, I really don't know what he is though right now. To be honest with you guys, we haven't seen nothing. We've seen one game, and he was a little erratic in that game. He still almost won the game by himself, which is saying something for a rookie. But we'll see. You said Lamar Jackson's arm talent ain't there. Yeah, he's not really as good with his arm as I'd say Josh Allen. He's more just ridiculously athletic and makes plays with his legs that are just, for a quarterback, I feel like they're not sustaining though, but teams are still having a hard time figuring out how to stop him. So until that happens, I really don't see him going anywhere. But yeah, I would take Josh Allen's arm over Lamar Jackson's also. Venom says, always a real fan and always giving the Niners the best luck they can get. And I hope Debo gets better from the injury also. Yeah, me too, man. I'm actually probably going to jump off here in a second and go watch, get on Twitter and watch some of the 49ers press, talking with the media today and get an update on the people that were hurt yesterday. I might pop in and make a quick little audio video for you guys, or I just might post the article on my community tab. But yeah, at this point, I don't really know much more than what I told you earlier, as far as I don't know the severity of Fred Warner, and they're saying that Debo could be a couple weeks, but they don't see it being long term. So those two things I'm definitely going to take a look at momentarily. But other than that, guys, I'm happy the 49ers were able to pull it out yesterday. They've been playing really well of late. So negative Aaron is definitely going to go away for a bit. Hopefully they can kind of put Seattle out of their misery, guys, next week. And, just keep on going. We got to win as many games as we can to end this season, guys. And then we have a chance to get into the playoffs. So I am ecstatic that the Niners are giving me something to be happy about going into December, because a couple weeks ago I was as negative could be, and I was all about getting rid of everybody and firing everybody. So I'm glad that they humbled me and shut me up. And I know you guys probably are too, or sick of me complaining. So with that being said, guys, thanks for supporting this stream. See, I got about 30 people in here, so I appreciate that. If anything else drops of any importance, I'll try to post it. Like I said, whether it's the community tab or I just post a quick video. But everybody, take care. Stay safe and healthy. What's going on, Niner Snickness? How you doing? Stay safe and healthy, everybody. Everybody take care. And until next time, as I always say, I'll see you on the flip side, guys. Take care.